Hi everybody, Susan here with Pumpkin Hill Stampers. I have a Stampin' Show and Tell to share with you today. I am using the new bundle, Quite Curvy, which coordinates with the Curvy Dies stamp set. So we've got lots of fun new shapes to play with in our stamping projects. I'm going to make one today for you. I am going to be using Blushing Bride as my base, and I've pulled a piece of Designer Series paper from the In Good Taste Designer Series paper pack. Now, when you look at this pack, you might see that it's a bunch of textiles, actually. It's tiles, it's wood grains, but on the flip side, there are patterns with colors in it, and this happens to be one of them. Now, this one might remind you maybe of carpet, right? Like a Berber carpet, but it's got these fun pinks in it. Now, I'm using Blushing Bride as my base, but the coordinating color is Petal Pink, but these two colors work really well together. So we're going to be using that on the front of our card. So now for the Curvy Dies piece. So I started, you can see, with a piece of Blushing Bride that was rectangular, and I've cut the curve like that. So I've cut that curve off, which could always be saved and used on another fun project, or if you cut a larger piece, you'd have another piece with that curve to use. But for us, we're just going to put that aside, and then you can see I've got this die cut with the fancy frilly edge. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use my die brush and just brush along and pop out all those little widgets there. Now, you might have the die brush that attaches to your pick tool. You might have this older version one, or even, I tell people, a nice clean dollar store toothbrush will get the job done. So whatever way you get those little pieces out of your dies after you cut them, they all work. Okay, so I'm going to fold my card base in half, and then I'm going to add my Designer Series paper next. So I'm going to kind of put this on the top of my card base here. It's going to open from the bottom. So I'm going to put this right along that edge, right near the top. Okay. Now this one is going to end up down here, so see how I've got that where it's going to overlap. So I didn't have to use a full sheet of DSP for the front because I'm going to cover it over. But now I'm going to do some stamping before I add that. So I've got this fun vine, and I'm going to use Memento ink. So the curve of the stamp is going to fit in the curve of that die. So everything coordinates. So I'm stamping in Memento, because then I'm going to add some ink with my blends. So stamp that down, and then I'm going to flip it over, make the curve go the other way. Get that all nice and inky, and I'm going to come over here and marry it to the other curve, just like that. And I could even come back and do just a little bit on this edge, just so there's no blank space. So that's going to depend on kind of how you line up your die, but your stamps will work along that edge just fine. Now I'm also going to come in and I'm going to stamp my greeting, Made with Love Just for You. So just in time for Valentine's Day, if you wanted, right? It could be at any time a card, but we're all starting to think about loved theme cards again in our paper crafting. So this one could fit. So I've got that. Okay, so now you can see I've used the dies, I've used the stamps, right? So I'm going to let those dry for just a minute. Now, I did already stamp and die cut this little bird, which there are 3 really cute birds in the set, all with dies that coordinate. So I've done one. So I'm going to bring in my blends, and I'm going to add a little color to my bird while that ink dries. So I'm actually using a 3rd pink Rococo Rose for my bird, and I'm going to use Rococo Rose on the flowers. So I'm using the 3 pinks, Blushing Bride, Petal Pink, and Rococo Rose, all together as coordinating colors. So that's a really nice feature of our Stampin' Up! Ink colors, is that they all really do coordinate well together. You can mix and match pretty easily between our color families. So I'm just shading my bird, kind of a two-tone, So we'll have him to add. I can also, as you can see, cut out 2 little sprigs using my dies. I use Just Jade for those. So I'm going to pull up my chair and I'm going to zoom in the camera while I color these flowers in. So remember, get my camera zoomed in here. When you stamp with blends, they're going to bleed through your cardstock. So you don't want to be coloring directly on the base of your card. You want to add a layer. Secondly, the blends have 2 tips. We've got the paintbrush tip and the fine point tip. I'm going to use the fine point tip to do most of my coloring for this project because it's very fine lines here and I don't want it to bleed over too much. Now you can always use the white blend to help pick up any color that goes outside your lines if you want to be very accurate and very precise. But sometimes I just let it bleed over a little bit because then it creates kind of a washed look. So as you can see, I have to take my time, and in places I'm even just dotting, adding just dots of ink with that fine tip of my blend marker. But it goes on very easily, very quickly, and I can be very precise if that's my goal. So let me just add a little more here. So you guys may have noticed I haven't been posting as frequently here on YouTube with my videos. I have transitioned a little bit. That's the nice thing about being an independent demonstrator is I can shift my business based on the needs of my family. And right now we're having some changes at home. We're probably going to embark on a move in the next few months, so I have other responsibilities, but I am going to keep sharing. I will keep posting here, just maybe not as often. But remember, I love to have your comments. Let me know what you're thinking of the projects. And I do share my store link below, so if you needed to order supplies, you can always find my store link in the comments here. And you can always visit my website at pumpkinhillstampers.com to either get in touch with me or to find out what promotions are happening. And of course, you can always shoot me just a comment here, wherever you're seeing this video, whether it's on Facebook or here on YouTube, and I will see that and I can get back to you that way as well. So just because I may not be posting as frequently, don't get the idea that I'm not still crafting and I'm not still being a demonstrator. I am. So let me help you in your crafting needs, whether it's a question or an order. I am happy to assist. So just hang in there with me while I'm going through this transition and we'll come out the other side. Alright, so you can see now I've moved on to my Rococo Rose. I am using the lighter Rococo Rose, and now that that pimento is dry, I can actually color over the black line. I don't have to be as careful as maybe I was with the green. But the 3 colors, the Petal Pink, the Blushing Bride, and the Rococo Rose, all really work very nicely together. So, and I like the way I was able just to add a little bit of texture with the DSP from the In Good Taste to the project without having to add a lot of extra embellishment. I was just able to use a printed pattern. So, alright, almost done. With the coloring. Okay, there it is. There's my lid. Alright, so now we can just go ahead and we're going to put this one on dimensionals. So I'm going to add a couple dimensionals along the curve, and I'm going to put 3 along the bottom. So this one I'm just going to line up with the bottom edge. Push that on, right? Now I've got these little sprigs. I'm going to use my glue dots. Now I'm going to just stick them on glue dots on the bottom, and then I'm going to roll a glue dot. Right? You've seen me do this before. Roll a glue dot, and I'm just going to add it to the back of an upper sprig. That way it doesn't overlap. But that piece that's got kind of glue coming out around the edge, I'm just going to tuck that behind. See? Easy peasy. So now I'm going to add a second one. So this is just to add a little detail, little coordinating embellishment to the curve in the image. So I'm going to add a second one. Just going to get that glue dot tucked underneath so it's not sticky. And then I've got my fun bird. I'm going to put my bird on a mini dimensional so I don't have to worry about it poking out around the edges. And stick my birdie right there so he's kind of in the bush. So there we go, guys. There's the show and tell for today. So I hope you enjoyed your holiday season. I hope you're ready to start crafting for the new year. Here's a little introduction to the new Quite Curvy bundle, which is in our spring catalog. So you guys can order that now if you want to. And I'll be sharing some more with you. So until next time, happy stamping. And again, contact me if you have any questions, and remember to leave me comments because that makes me feel good. So have a great day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.